Hey everyone, this is Chase at Rocky Mountain ATVMC. Today we're going to show you how to navigate the Husaberg OEM parts finder. So whether you own a TE, an FX, FE, or maybe an FC, it is very helpful to know how to navigate the Husaberg OEM diagrams to find those OEM parts that you are looking for. So today in this video, I'm just going to walk you through the basic organization of Husaberg's OEM diagrams. We're going to give you some helpful tips and information along the way, and we're also going to answer some commonly asked questions. So let me grab my laptop and let's get started. So on each OEM page, you'll find a couple helpful links that you can also access on any of the OEM schematic pages. The first one is live chat. Here you can chat with an OEM specialist if you're having trouble finding the part that you need. The other is an OEM part finder tips page. This is a list of tips and tricks that are specific to Husaberg, and these will help you locate the correct part that you are looking for. Now we're constantly updating this sheet, so if there's a question you have or there's something that you see we are missing, just let us know. The first paragraph just explains that for certain years, Husaberg combined the engine and chassis schematics, and for other years, it split them up. Now when it comes to the year of your vehicle, if you're not quite sure, you can actually refer to the VIN number. The 10th digit will represent the model's year. So if the 10th digit in your VIN number is a 6, that means you have a 2006. If it's a C, this means you have a 2012. So now, let's just take a look at finding some parts. First, we need to select our bike's year. Ours will be a 2009. Once you select your year, select your model. First, we'll be looking at a 450 FE. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the engine and chassis diagrams are listed separate after 2006. The part we'll be looking for will be on the engine schematics. Now, diagrams are in alphabetical order and they are found on the left side or in the drop-down menu. To start finding a part, no matter what part you are looking for, think of where the part is on the vehicle and what it's connected to or is touching. For example, if you were looking for a countershaft seal, you would know that it sits into the crankcase but is also touching the countershaft. So the engine case and transmission tube countershaft would be two great starting places. In this case, it will be found on the transmission tube countershaft diagram as number 24, and you'd probably want to order the O-ring at the same time, which is number 25. Now you'll notice that there are no directional arrows on the Husaberg schematics, but for the most part, the parts are laid out in the same orientation on each schematic with the front of the machine located in the lower left corner. So you can use that as a reference when locating parts specific to the left and right side. As you look at the diagram, there are some important things to know and some tips to help you out. Each yellow box has a number that corresponds to a part on the diagram. When you hover over the yellow box, it will give you some helpful information. You'll find the name of the part, the Husaberg part number, hour price, MSRP, and the quantity in stock. You can also add your part straight to cart from here by clicking the Add to Cart box. You can zoom in and out using the plus or minus keys, or you can use a scroll wheel on your mouse. Now let's jump over to the chassis schematic for this bike and let's look at the rear wheel. On certain diagrams, you may see a box surrounding multiple item numbers or a line connecting multiple parts. First, we'll look at number 1. This is a complete rear wheel for this bike, so everything inside that box will be included, already assembled when you order number 1. Inside box number 1, you can see several items all connected to a line labeled as number 2. This is the entire hub assembly and has everything included and installed, so bearings, seals, and spacers. Looking at number 15, this is a rear wheel repair kit, which includes 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, all the bearings and parts to rebuild your hub or a complete wheel bearing and seal kit. Now let's look at the diagram list. The numbers on the diagram correlate to the numbers listed below. On the list under quantity, you may see certain boxes have more than one for a quantity. This indicates the amount of that part needed for complete reassembly. Looking at the spokes and nipples, numbers 8 and 9, you see 36 for each part. If you only need 1 or maybe 2 spokes, you can click on the box and change that quantity. And looking at the stock status, you can easily see what is in stock. If an item is in stock, we have it in our warehouse and ready to be shipped. Now we do our best to stock as many parts as possible, but might not stock items that are rarely purchased. If you order a part that is not stocked, we will order the part immediately from Husaberg and ship it to you as soon as possible. We work hard to review each diagram to stock the parts that are commonly ordered. If we missed one, our software will recognize it based on sales and make it a stocked item. Now, if an item says not shipping, this can be one of two things. First, the part number is old and no longer made by Husaberg, and second, it may be a brand new part and not yet available. Now let's jump over to the tank, seat, and cover schematic. In some situations, there will be an email me when available box. This means that Husaberg does not have the part in stock and does not have an exact date of when the part will be available, but we can email you when the part does become available. Now let's take a look at the shock absorber disassembled schematic. If we look at number 40 in the parts list, which is the shock spring, you'll notice that there are 3 different options for this. If you need a different spring rate other than what's currently on your shock, you could order that there. Now let's go over some commonly asked questions. Let's jump over to a 2013 250 TE engine and pull up the crankshaft piston. Many of the 2-stroke models will have more than one piston to choose from. Here you can see piston 1 and piston 2. If you're installing a brand new cylinder, you want to use size 1. If the cylinder is used and it has some hours on it, you'll want to go ahead and order size 2. Piston number 2 has a slightly larger diameter to fit a little more snug in a used cylinder. Now another commonly asked question we get is with superseded parts. A superseded part is a part that has been replaced by a newer version. For example, on this parts list under number 13, you'll see small red text. This just means that there is a newer version of this crankshaft that replaces the one that was stock on the bike. This part will fit your machine just fine. Husaberg may have just made a change to that specific part, so it replaced the old part along with the part number. Next, let's talk about standard equipment parts. If we jump over to the carburetor schematic and find the main jet, which is number 23 on that schematic, you'll see multiple options for jet sizes for the main jet on the parts list. Now for this bike, there are main jet size options ranging from 150 up to 182. So depending on how you're jetting your bike, you have several options of OEM jets to choose from, but they don't specify the stock jet size, so be sure to refer to your owner's manual if you're not sure. This also goes for plenty of other parts like the idle jet, the jet needle, etc. Now the last commonly asked question we want to talk about is Husaberg base gaskets. If we pull up the cylinder head diagram, you'll see we have several different base gaskets offered in different thicknesses. This is so you can set the deck height for your piston and cylinder, so here you can just order whatever size that you will need. Alright, so there you have it. That is our walkthrough for the Husaberg OEM parts finder. Now if you have any other questions about anything we talked about in this video, or maybe you just can't seem to find that part that you are looking for, well, do not worry. You can comment below, give us a call, or even chat live online with one of our friendly CSRs, and we'll make sure that we get your questions answered. I'm Chase the Rocky Mountain. Thanks for watching.